well and do it better than them. Enough of killing our people. This is the guise of cattle, whatever. This, we don't have a land to donate for colony. We do not have such land. They want their business, their private business, they should go back to Sambisa forest. Take over their forest and begin to rear their cattle there.
Nigerian state what about hate acts? Hate acts that lead to hate speech. At least those who cannot throw bombs can at least complain. Say, I don't like this bomb that was thrown behind my back. I don't like my brother that was killed by a farmer, a cattle farmer, and I am a crop farmer. Is that hate speech?
A press conference by Igbo Patriots. Anambra State House of Assembly, Legislative Chambers, Oka, Anambra State. Through the Honorable Speaker, Anambra House of Assembly, Honorable Barrister Rita Maduagu, their honorable members. Fervent request to enact anti-open grazing and anti-cattle colony laws in Anambra State. We are Igbo Patriots, a collective of Igbo progressives, both at home and in diaspora, with an ironclad commitment to the promotion of the welfare, well-being, and cosmology of our people through good governance, anchored on transparency, probity, accountability, and social welfare. Cognizance of our history, which has been a catalogue of struggles for our basic rights and freedom, spanning the British colonial exploitation, subjection, and subjugation, to the present epoch of hegemonic, feudal, internal colonialism and servitude. We are apprehensive of the alleged plot by the federal government to coerce the National Assembly to legislate what we view as obnoxious grazing and cattle colony bills. We are equally flabbergasted, dumbfounded, and mortally concerned with the recent statement of the Inspector General of the Nigerian Police, cautioning states not to pass the anti-grazing law without first establishing grazing areas. This is a clear case of the hand of Esau, but the voice of Jacob. It is apposite to state without any equivocation that the grazing and cattle colony bills is a covert plot by the Fulani with the tacit support of the Buhari-led APC federal administration to promote and advance the Islamization agenda, which we shall resist in the Southeast geopolitical zone and space. However, it is significant to note that we are not averse to ranching, which is in our international best practices in animal husbandry, especially when it is known that cattle rearing is a private and not a national business. In the light of the aforestated issues, we wish to humbly and respectfully make the following prayers to the honorable members of this distinguished House as the true and direct representatives of the people of Anambra State. 1. Expeditiously act in the interest of the people of Anambra State by enacting the anti-open grazing bill. 2. Enact a bill that will prohibit the ceding of any part of Anambra land for the purpose of cattle colony under any guise. 3. Empower the governor as the chief security officer of the state with a law establishing vigilante groups to enable him enforce the law to so legislate by the honorable House. We once more appeal that you stand on the same side of the divide with the people in this quest to resist internal neo-colonialism and subjugation. History and posterity will judge you kindly if you do this at this decisive period of our national history and engagement. We shall continue to partner with you in the quest for and promotion of good governance, peace, and security in Anambra State in particular, and Southeast geopolitical zone in general. Thank you.
Just last week, the Inspector General of Police ordered the withdrawal of arms in the hands of local vigilantes. Do you see this as part of the plot to render the people open to more horrendous attacks by the herdsmen?
Igbo Patriots believe that a society that is not law-driven is a society that is heading for a crash. And that is part of the reasons why we insist that legalism is our route to, or at least one of the routes, one of the legitimate routes to addressing this challenge. There is an attempt made by forces outside Igboland to ensure that we do not survive. And if it is now that they are withdrawing arms from local vigilante, I want to say that there are laws in Nigeria that permit people to carry certain level of arms, especially if we are within the security apparatus, including neighborhood watches. There are certain types of arms that they are allowed to carry. I don't want to believe that the Inspector General of Police would want a well-constituted vigilante or neighborhood watch that usually work hand in hand, that are actually the leg and the hands and the eyes of the Nigerian police. I do not believe that they would want to withdraw their arms. Perhaps they may want to withdraw arms that were maybe illegally acquired by some of those people in those outfits, if there are any. But I think that it is important that they should know and note that these neighborhood watches or vigilante groups are the people on the ground. That's what we have christened neighborhood community police. So I do not think that the Inspector General would make that a blanket statement, because there are requisite laws that permits these local vigilante groups to carry certain level of arms. Maybe they may not carry AK-47 like the Fulani Herdsmen. I hope that they would have been able to withdraw those ones, the AK-47 from Fulani Herdsmen, because I've seen them in my village in Neke, in the Isusa local government of Enugu State. I've seen them pass with an AK-47 strapped behind their back. And I'm sure also that they pass police checkpoints. And so I want to believe that it's one of those kites that are flown, which the Inspector General of Police may know he may be running foul or going against the law made by the institutions or the government that the police also represents. Now, of course, the question that was asked the last question relating to whether, or rather the first question relating to whether we are just rising now. No, we are not looking at anybody's body language. Igbo Patriots have just said that our people are under threat, that the threat that was issued in 1960, to be precise, on October 11, 1960, when Sir Ahmadu Bello, the then premier of the Northern region, gathered his cohorts, gathered his caucus, and told them in very plain languages, quote, the new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great-grandfather Ottoman Danfodio. We must ruthlessly prevent any change of power. We use the minority in the north as willing tools and the south as a conquered territory. We will never allow them to rule over us. We will never allow them to have control over their future, unquote. That future is here right now. And it does appear that there is a ploy by forces outside Igboland to ensure that we do not take care of our future. And so we are not looking at anybody's body language. We are looking at our environment, we are looking at our cosmology, we are looking at our territory, and we are seeing our territory being overrun. People can no longer go to farm. And if the Igbo man cannot cultivate food, that is another ploy to ensure that all the monies that have been taken here from the east and taken to the north to go and build gigantic dams, so that they will continue to cultivate food and then bring for us. But the Igbo man has never depended on food from outside Igbo land, because we have very,
very fruitful lands which we can cultivate. But now, our fathers, our mothers, our young girls, our mothers are afraid to go to farm because they may get raped, they may get killed, and it has happened several times. It's like we don't know how many minutes it happens each day. And so, it's not about the body language of members of the Houses of Assembly. Igbo Patriots are born in Ebonyi. We are going around the southeast states so that we can let our people know that we can approach this matter from the legal perspective. And it is said that the voice of the people is the supreme law. The people of Ndi Igbo are speaking and asking their representatives, if they are truly their representatives, they should enact anti-grazing, anti-open grazing, and anti-cattle colony bills that the governor will sign into act. And when that is done, we will be on our way to trying to secure our environment. We are under threat of extinction because if we can't cultivate food, then how do we survive? I can't imagine an Igbo man, instead of exporting food, importing food, either from the caliphate or from outside Nigeria. So it's not about body language of anyone. We are looking at our environment and we want to get it secured as legitimate as we can.
I would like to ask Igbo Patriots their concern or their own opinion with respect to the current bill currently at the Senate, the hate speech bill, which many have connected it with the outbursts of many Nigerians against the activities of Fulani Herdsmen. So you have made a press conference with regards to the Fulani Herdsmen, the ranches, and the rest of them. What's your own concern and perspective about the bill that is at the floor of the Nigerian Senate? I would like my honorable evangelist to make a reaction on that, please. Thank you.
The hate speech bill, if I'm going to talk like a historian that I am, I don't know what constitutes hate speech. These days, we are no longer sure of the difference between saying the truth and making hate speech. But if anybody is making hate speech this day, we must have learnt it from the north, where people have told us, the current president has said that if he didn't win the election, that monkeys and baboons will dance in blood. Who are those monkeys and who are those baboons? And which blood are they going to dance? Is it blood of chickens or is it blood of goats? Palm oil or is it sprinkled ash? So, I don't know what constitutes hate speech. They can make a bill against hate speech, but they will not make a bill that will seal somebody's mouth from at least complaining when something has gone wrong with what he feels is not right. You have a right to complain. You have a right to say your mind. So the distinction between hate speech and saying the truth is what the bill will have to let us know, perhaps when it is passed. But I believe that those people in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, should be able to distinguish frivolities, frailties from things that are significant and critical. And what are those critical things? The Nigerian state is wobbling and fumbling with the possibility of crumbling, and people are talking about hate speech. What about hate acts? It is hate acts that lead to hate speech. At least those who cannot throw bombs can at least complain. Say, I don't like this bomb that was thrown behind my back. I don't like my brother that was killed by a farmer who is a cattle farmer and I am a crop farmer. Is that hate speech? What will that constitute? How will that constitute hate speech? In Nigeria, do we have more cattle than in Brazil? Do we have more cattle than Holland? Are they having this kind of problem? That is why some people have alleged that this is an Islamization agenda. In 1964 general election, the NPC manifesto is very plain, black and white. If you see the NPC manifesto of 1964, it is written there in Tahalia. Time has come. We must show these intellectual fools that we are only in the morning of our leadership of this country. Our only obstacle are the Igbos. They have overplayed their card. they will sink, unquote. This is a public document in a political manifesto of a political party. Maybe this is what is being played out. But our people, because we are pacifist people, we will always continue to do what is right. We will always continue to do what is legitimate. If people like justify registering underage people in the north, we will not justify it here. We will register those who are up to age. We will register those who are qualified to take part in partisan politics so that we can elect good leaders. So the hate speech matter, when we get to the bridge, we will see how it will cross.
It wasn't an ultimatum, but we let the State Assembly know that if they are really working for the people, and by the time they finish reading the letter we sent to them for the enactment of the bills, they know that what are they and what the people want, and that they should, 3 weeks should be enough for them to do the will of the people. In the past, states like Anambra and Abia State had Bakassi boys, and they were empowered by the state legislation to act. When the state government found out that they've done the jobs that they were sent for, they disband the vigilant group. So we are calling on the state government to do what is right and do it as quick as they can. Thank you.